bar none. No, very few, very little examples. Microsoft has something called XRM that the Dynamics product was built upon, and that is a rapid application object-based development platform. Well, no one really used that to customize or build applications. All Microsoft users stay with .NET. They didn't go to the more modern app dev platform. They were trying to do the same thing Salesforce did with Force.com, but Force.com absolutely was killing it. And a lot of companies, one in particular called AECOM in Southern California, within a year they were acquiring. There were construction companies that build roads and convention centers and just large projects, and so in some cases $1 billion projects. And they were 20,000 employees. They bought a bunch of companies, and within 1 year they were 130,000 employees. Well, they went wall to wall with Salesforce for licenses, but within 1 year to 18 months, they moved like about 80% of their app dev to Force.com. So all of their apps were being built on that object-based platform, rapid application Mode 2 platform, and they're selling the hell out of that Force.com. So now what you have is, on the same platform that you have your marketing automation and your customer service and your sales, CRM and all that, and your analytics and all of the things that they provide. Now you're building custom applications, and all of your data sits on the Salesforce platform. So they're absolutely crushing it, and companies buy it because they're trying to modernize and transform. All I saw for a year when I sold Dynamics was simply they just wanted something cheap. They could get it thrown into their for competitive reasons. The didn't want Salesforce in there, give it away pretty cheap or free, or even if they bought it at full price, it was still way less than Salesforce. And it was a tactical move. It wasn't. They just basically wanted the basic functionality of what CRM did. Goldmine or something from 15 years, 20 years ago, whatever, Goldmine. Basically using it like Goldmine or Act or something.
Mm-hmm. So, not optimistic on Dynamics, it seems fair to say. And
no, and while I was there, they bought LinkedIn. So we were like, holy shit. If you take a CRM and it's fully integrated with LinkedIn, that's the triple threat right there. Well, what happened was Benioff and the other guys, and Larry Ellison and everybody, went and complained that to whoever, the government, whatever government facility, that they shouldn't let that merger go through unless they promise to keep all the integration capabilities of LinkedIn available to all their competitors, and they won that battle. Otherwise, they would have blocked the acquisition. So now, there's no competitive advantage of Microsoft owning LinkedIn. So that didn't help the Dynamics solution. Mm-hmm. And then there are some people who big Microsoft shops who still use the on-prem Dynamics just because they just aren't ready for cloud. They're late adopters to cloud. Yeah. So I would call the Dynamics a flop, and I don't, in fact, I was actually laid off. They laid off like 80-90% of the group. They started hiring back, a year or two later. But they went really lean, basically. Now I think their golden goose is O365. I mean, they've got hundreds of millions, of users for that.
Yeah. And it seems like that's, to be fair to Microsoft, that's been a lot more, that's been very successful, and they've done a really good job with that.
Yeah, and again, I think Azure's been good. I mean, they do a good seed and feed. I mean, they start with the Microsoft stack, and then they start trying to find other workloads, and they have a sharp Azure team, but at the end of the day, people who aren't married to Microsoft, more than often are going to go to AWS. Now, AWS is very tricky because a lot of I was just at a CIO conference, and talking to customers, a lot of them went, kind of just went berserk, throwing workloads and throwing a lot